We have one more speaker who drove all the way from Stockton to be here with us, another freedom fighter, another courageous fighter in the struggle. Actually, two people, I'm sorry, Carey Downs and Dionne Smith Downs from Stockton, California. Their son, James Rivera, was murdered by Stockton police, and they're here to come talk to you. They were also at the conference in Atlanta a few months ago that made the call to have April 14th as a National Day of Protest.
Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Dionne Smith Downs from Stockton, California.
Carey Downs from Stockton, California.
Yes, I'm the mother of James Earl Rivera Jr., 16 years old. My son was murdered July 22nd, 2010, a day before his 17th birthday. He was murdered by the total of 12 officers was out there with different agencies, but they only gave us 3 officers. They said it was 2 Stockton police and the sheriff. They shot 48 times, 18 into my son's body, and he was shot with AR-15. These are the pictures of the officer putting the gun back, and that's because they did now, this is the crime scene. And so now they're putting the guns back in, so they're going to take it back down to investigate the case. But this is what the AR-15 did to my son. So that's why we are on board with this April 14th, sorry, for people to come out, because it's mothers like me been in this struggle almost 5 years. This will be 5 years this year. I have not received police reports, personal property. I haven't received anything regarding the death of my son. I've been traveling city to city, state to state, trying to get support, trying to get the information that I got by investigating in the community and also being on the scene. The day my son, before he was murdered, the last supper me and my son ate was McDonald's. That's the last time I actually touched my son, hold my son, laugh with my son, and hit him on the cheek. Morning time, about 10 o'clock, he was pronounced dead, basically. So in less than 24 hours, he was dead. I got a phone call from a young lady down the street from my home. And she said the officer had stopped your child. She didn't say, because I'm a mother of 14. She didn't say what child. She just said it was a child. And so I didn't pay no attention, because all my older kids, they have a driver license, get a ticket and go on about their business. And so I didn't respond to the phone call. And so I laid back down in the bed. She called again. She said, like, in a voice, like, get up. So I got up, and now I'm trying to ask her where did they go. So she gave me a location. She was pointing how to get where the officer took my kid. And the next thing I know, I hear guns going off. But when I was hearing them going off, I did not know they was guns. I'm thinking it was fireworks, because we was in July. You know how the fireworks, people still pop firecrackers. And so I'm going down Stanfield, and I got to the stop sign. I felt bad. I had a weird feeling, but I didn't know what the feeling was. Then I seen people running. I see cars flying. And so I'm following the traffic. And so once I get to the location, I see the officers. I see a whole bunch of activity going on. And one of the officers had the yellow tape blocking everything off. When there's a crime scene, they try to block you, keep you far from the scene. And I finally got there. And as I'm approaching to my son, people were saying, that's your son. And I'm looking like, how that's my son? You don't know me. This is not my community. But as I get closer, I get out the vehicle of my car. And I stand, and I'm still not clicking in. That's my baby right there. And when I got out my vehicle, because I parked and I'm asking questions, and they said, the police did it. And I'm looking at them like, huh? And so when I looked, I still couldn't see, because I seen them slapping them. Because, normally when you see your mom, you're going to say, Mom, help, or something. So my son never said a word. But one of the young men that he knew was out there, he confirmed it to me. That was James. And then they said when they said I screamed, I don't remember, but they said I did a scream, a helpless scream or something. And the only thing I remember, the ambulance having them put him, when they noticed I'm out there now, they heard him put him in the ambulance and they took him away. But I followed the ambulance, and I got 2 police cars behind me because I didn't stop. And so now they telling me to pull over. I'm not pulling over. Now I called 911 on the police. But at the same time, I didn't know the police, the one that did the damage. So I get to the hospital. Now I'm on the phone. I'm shaking. And what do we call? I called my mama. And I told my mama, please help me, mama. Please, something is bad. Mama, please help me. Then I called my husband. And all that time I was out there, I was giving him, he has Medicare. I was telling him, I'm telling his blood type. I'm just giving him everything I can give him. They put the dogs on me. They did everything they could to me to get away from that. I didn't. The only thing I can do is fall on the ground and pray. That's all I could do. I felt helpless, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried. Now, before I got the news that he was passed, they already had pronounced him on the news. And my family looking for me. And I'm telling everybody, I'm at the hospital. But I didn't know that he was shot by the police. And so when I finally got in there, they never got the chance to tell me my son had expired because I tore up the hospital. Nobody could go in the ambulance. Nobody could go in the emergency room. The hospital was shut down. This is the first time I ever seen a emergency shut down, the whole hospital. And they had the dogs on me. And I'm begging them. I said, please, sir, can I just hold him? Can I just hold him? And I said, if he hears his mama, he'll fight, because my kids are fighting like me. And they never did, and so I never had the chance to know what happened. So then the people in the community, I went back over there, and they was telling me what had happened to my son. They was telling me my son was scared. They told me that they had him pushed over there, and then the one with the Tahoe let him go. I still ain't exactly pointed out who drove the Tahoe, but they was giving me the feed of the accident. They said the van was flat. It was flat tires. They told me the police hit him, knocked him into the stop sign. I didn't even know he was hit twice, and hit from the back, and he would hit to the side. And when he hit from the side, he knocked into 2 mailboxes, then into 2 garages. And that's when they opened fire. And so I've been out here fighting for 5 years, finna be 5 years, July 22nd, on the battlefield, and I've been supporting a lot of mothers, a lot of siblings, because I know how it feels to lose a loved one, and I know how it feels to don't have support, because when we get killed by the police, who do we run to? Who do we make our complaints to? And so we have to depend on each other. And the only way we're going to get justice, and the only way I'm going to get justice for my son, is connect with the people in the community, in the schools, give them awareness, and be there for them. And what we've been doing, what I took the challenge of No Mother Left Behind. And the reason I said that, because it's a lot of mothers that have lost a lot of kids, a lot of children, a lot of loved ones, is scared to speak up. Because a lot of people have a different background. They feel that they scared to speak because they'll be exposed by their old stuff. We don't care about your old stuff. We're going to fight together. We're going to let them know you're not going to bluff us. I went to the city hall. I never knew we had a city hall. So that's one thing I have learned. I learned how to protest. I learned how to get a computer. All the stuff that I'm learning now, I never knew of. I was lack of knowledge of. And so that's why I am so glad when Oscar Grant was killed. And remember when they went to L.A., and they had a march. That march they had out here, they had one in Oakland, they had one in L.A. And when I came back from Oakland, and I shut Stockton down. That was my first time. I didn't know what I was doing. But I shut it down, and you know what? And I knew I did something, because people came and said, we never knew people can protest in this town. And I said, I didn't know either, but I just went to Oakland. And so I've been out doing what everybody's doing, researching, sharing information, because once we learn something, we do better. And so I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to be blind. I'm going to fight until I can't fight no more. My mother passed. That was my big supporter. My mother passed November 18th of this year. My mom passed. That was my big supporter. When I travel, she watched my kids, or I can call her for my backbone. When I'm having a community feed, I call my mom. I need you to cook. Can you do this? So she's gone. And so when I lost my mom, and I buried her December 5th, I didn't know if I wanted to continue to fight because my mom was sick, and I'm too busy fighting this battle for justice, for police brutality, didn't pay attention to my mom. But she was a fighter because she didn't want me to see her sick because she knew I would stop. So I thought about it and I said, you know what? My mom wouldn't want me to stop. And guess what? We shut it down again. So that's why April 14th, I'm going to kick Stockton ass. I got a bus, going to be in Oakland at 12 o'clock. It's free. I got a bus. Anybody want to, because, you know, we supporting everything. We want every city to get involved. But we have a bus coming from out of Oakland at 12 o'clock at Oscar Grant Square. It's free. We're having a community feed. We're going to march, and somebody donated me a real casket for 4 hours, and I'm going to carry that casket, and I'm going to put a mirror in it, and I'm going to dedicate it to the people to show. We're going to take it to the city hall, and we're going to call the district attorney out. We're going to call the city manager out. We're going to call the mayor out. We're going to call all of them out that responsible for all these deaths, because you turn your head, we're bringing it to you. And my husband going to finish.
Basically, she touched on a lot of things that we all should be aware of, and that's really the connection that we really need in the community. I think that's, for the most part, that's what's missing. It's the support that, you know, that families don't get or we don't get, because sometimes we stand on our own, you know, and sometimes there's nobody standing with us. So we try to continue to push, and what gives us the motivation to push is the people, as you guys. Because even though for some people it hasn't happened to you yet, the fact that you guys were here today, that you're listening to our stories, lets us know in some kind of way that you will be involved and you will share these stories and stand with us, because, like she said, we're not going nowhere. And yeah, we definitely want to make, yeah, we definitely make some small victories. Every officer has a camera, and mostly all the officers have chest cams or whatever they call them, body cams.
Still don't kill, but we can let people know by organizing this what happened. We also made a flyer, which I'm going to pass them out later.
And so we know also, too, that cameras, you know, a lot of people's deaths have been caught on film or video, and nothing has still happened to these officers. Only with Johannes Mesley, who killed Oscar Grant, was the only one who got tapped on the wrist. Out of all the killings, and so many people have been killed since our son's been killed. Even on this page right here, there's a few people that got killed after our son. So it hasn't stopped yet, and the reason why is because we haven't stood up enough to voice our opinions, and we haven't had enough people to stand with us. So that's the only thing that we're missing, is the people, and it's so important that people, especially young people too, because we're doing this for them. A lot of us are of age, in this world, it's like, you know, it's about our kids that's growing up now, so we have to make a path for them. And, you know, and we can't do it alone, so they do look up to us. Yes, and if they see us fighting for a cause, then maybe they'll get involved, too, and fight right next to us, and that's kind of like what we need. So we just appreciate you guys letting us come out. We thank you for letting us come out and share our story, and just, you know, like you said, April 14th, shut it down.
And one more thing. Also, I brought some flyers, and I would like for y'all to get a flyer. And the reason we made this flyer, like I said before, everything I learned by myself, and I try to share what I learned and what I found. And about this movement, it have educated me. It made me a better mother. It made me better in my community. So I thank this movement, and I thank for the support that I have, and also the traveling to meet other mothers as well. But what I did with this flyer, we went and got, the district attorney gave us the name of all the officers who was involved killing. And what we did, we went from 2009 to present. And these are all the officers on this flyer. These are the ones who have killed people in Stockton. We just had we had 4 killings this year in Stockton, and I just supported the family. You know, we buried their loved ones. So that's what I always do. But then also, we put their names on the back of here, and we let you know who they killed, and we let you know pretty much demonstrate. So we would like for each city, we're hoping that each city's adopt this and put this on here. And then we also put a reward on here. And the reward is $2,500 for awareness of any conviction of an officer. You know, and it's just something to get involved in. This really worked. I'm going to tell you why I know this really worked. This really worked. A young man was killed in Stockton. He was murdered in Stockton January 28th. By these officers. And the same day we had march and protest in Stockton. And we went to the city hall. We put the city hall on blast they couldn't start for like 20 minutes. We stopped them for 20 minutes. They had to get their stories together. But when they came back, we was able to tell our stories and let them know that we still here. We're not going anywhere. At 12 o'clock that night, a young man was killed by the police. And I got a phone call. And this is how powerful God works and how the people work. I got a phone call and tells me, you need to get out here. I'm like, who is this? You need to get out here. The police just killed someone. And when we got out there, now they got all this investigated. They got, you know how the police do, they block everything off. Then they start going in the neighborhood, getting their pencil and pen, try to tell the story and re-script it. That's what I call it. And guess what? When I walk out there, and I'm not an officer, I'm just a little old me. Y'all see me, I'm just little. And they gave me 3 videotapes of the officer shooting. And then, guess what, y'all? The officers told a fib, and the video told different. Amen.